as I am thinking about my channel, and if you've been watching, you'll see that we are moving and we are getting the place ready for sale. We are doing specific things to prepare the house, and we are selling a lot of our animals, except for our dog and our cat, of course, cats, of course, and some of our bunnies. But I'm just thinking about the trajectory of, oh, looky there. My flowers are starting to bloom. All right, I get distracted. I made a pumpkin pie. I made a pumpkin pie for supper. I think that what I would like to do is do a lot of seasonal cooking, or not seasonal, just some cooking, some thoughts and some ideas for suppers, and mixed in with the farmy stuff outside. We're not gonna have many animals at first, especially while going under construction. Whew, it's gonna be quite a long time. We might build a structure and then be in a RV, which is not unfamiliar to many people building. So today is kind of weird though. I just want to say, like, sometimes I come up with some random stuff. So Darian wanted to make artichokes forever. Artichokes. So I love my kids exploring some new food. So I let Darian buy artichokes today at the store, and I let Sean buy an eggplant because he wanted to use that in a recipe. So tomorrow we're using an eggplant in an Asian dish. And tonight I'm gonna cook the artichokes, and I'm gonna mix it with a cream cheese and just have kind of like a dip with some sopes. I'm gonna make some sopes with this. This is used oftentimes to make arepas or gorditas. There's also another word for it that I need to look up, but in Mexico and other places in Central America and South America. So I really love it, and I like to use maseca, or I like to use this. Recently, a Colombian friend of mine, she really enjoys this kind, and I'm like, oh, I think my husband's gonna like this kind even more so than the maseca, because he's not as used to the corn masa, maseca. So I've got the artichokes in the oven roasting, and I thought, well, I could just put like spinach artichoke dip on the sopes, but I also have some beans that I'm making. So they are pinto beans, and I'll mash them, and arroz blanco, white rice, which you usually would probably use if you're gonna use a pinto bean. You usually use like a red rice with tomato and stuff, but or if you're doing seafood, oftentimes you do a white rice. But I'm switching it up. It's fine. I can do what I want. We can all do what we want. So that's what I'm making tonight. I'm gonna use leftover pork chops, chop them up, put some salsa, some cheese, some beans. It will be delicious. So this is the consistency, kind of how you want it, and I'm just gonna cook it a little bit longer on the stovetop to get it a little bit more goopy. Okay, this is about the consistency. I'm just gonna cook it down a little bit more to make it a little more goopy, and it all depends on how you like your beans done, if you want them very, very goopy or not. So it's just about the moisture content, right? Moisture content.
Artichokes taste good.
Oh, Darian.
Mom, can I have a teeny bit of this? What? I like artichokes.
So we're trying it out.
Mom, can I just have the tip of this?
Cream cheese is right there.
Can I have it?
Yeah, a little bit. Did you wash your hands?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, I've never cooked it before, so it's the center that is what you want, and some people just eat little bits off of it, and I don't know if I scrape it off with a knife or whatever.
Before I even get to play with them.
No. I think we need to watch a video about artichokes, because I thought it was going to be easy peasy, but I know artichokes are beautiful flowers, but that ain't edible. So is it the under part? Okay, thank you, YouTube. So you scrape off this little furry part in the middle of the flower, like all the That's where the seed would be. It actually looks like a thistle when it's blooming. It is probably a thistle, technically. And then you just eat that part, scrape it off, and eat that part. Right, Chancers? So we're gonna do this to the rest of them. And then the very center, the part left over, this is the artichoke heart. This doesn't look too good because I took a bite out of it already, but that's what you find in the majority of your jars and stuff of artichokes. So interesting. Didn't know. Thank you to the farmer who grew this, because I know that this takes up a lot of space in the garden and it doesn't give you much for eating. Oh, Bubby. You're okay. Better look at one of those that I scraped out. It's the artichoke heart. All right, so these arepas, you want them to kind of like look like that when you turn them. I turned this one a little too early, but I can just turn it back over, and then we're gonna make little boats out of the arepas by squishing them. We squish the center and push out the sides and pinch the sides. So what I've done is I just pushed down the center and I squeezed up the sides a little bit. And that looks pretty much perfect. And I'm cooking these in some butter. So I love butter. I'll use it, but you could do dry. You could do it dry, but it would just maybe smoke your house up a little bit. Okay, so I'm making a little bit of a salsa, and I took corn that was left over from grill. We grilled some corn on the cob, and then some cilantro from the garden. I'm gonna cut these up, and I'm gonna reheat them in the pan after I get done with the sopes. And then I'm going to shred some cheese. Pretty sure I don't have any fingerprints now because it was so hot. So you get your little sopes like that. And I was gonna serve this with a salsa verde, but the salsa verde, I opened the jar and there was mold in the jar. Yeah, must not have had a good seal. Okay, yeah. For the sope, I'm gonna take a little bit of the beans. And I'm going to put it in the bottom of the sope. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the meat. And I'll put it there too. And I shredded some cheese. So I'm going to take a little bit of cheese. And I'm going to put a little bit of the corn and the cilantro. Great. And a little salsa. You can do this in whatever order you want to. And I mixed a little bit of the sour cream with some milk. Oh, nice background noise. With this, and there we go. That is delicious. I mean, how can you go wrong with cream cheese? I mean, it makes everything taste good. Bacon and cream cheese, it's just yummy. All right, my other sope. Now you can use your hands, or you can use a fork. That is delicious. I could go for a little spicier though.